At the heart of Central America lies Honduras, a land shaped over time by mountains, rain, forest, and sea, where nature determines the pace of life and the passing of hours feels gentle and unforced. From above, the country reveals itself in layers, long mountain ridges rising and falling beneath drifting clouds, deep valleys cut by rivers that shimmer briefly in the light before disappearing into dense green canopies. These interior highlands hold forests rich with life, places where mist gathers in the early morning and sunlight filters softly through leaves, illuminating orchids, towering trees, and the quiet movement of birds hidden among branches. Water defines this landscape, arriving with seasonal rains that nourish the soil, swell streams into rivers, and sustain ecosystems that have existed for centuries, allowing the land to breathe and renew itself year after year. Rivers flow steadily toward the lowlands, carrying nutrients, shaping terrain, and linking the interior mountains with the distant coast, forming a continuous natural system that connects every region of the country. As elevation decreases, the air grows warmer and heavier. The vegetation thickens, and the horizon begins to open, signaling the approach of the Caribbean, where the land finally softens and releases itself to the sea. Along the northern coast, palm trees line sandy shores. Waves arrive in slow, rhythmic patterns, and the water reflects shades of turquoise and blue that shift with the sky above. Offshore, warm currents move quietly across the surface, surrounding a chain of islands known as the Bay Islands, places shaped almost entirely by their relationship with the ocean. Among them rests Roatan, long and narrow, stretching across the Caribbean like a green ribbon bordered by reef and open water. On the island, the sea is ever present, visible from hillside clearings, heard through the rustle of palms and the steady break of waves, and felt in the salt-laced breeze that moves across the land. Roatan's southern shore is protected by coral formations that belong to the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, an immense underwater structure that supports a vast diversity of marine life while shielding the island from stronger currents and storms. Beneath the surface, coral rises in intricate shapes. Fish glide effortlessly through shafts of filtered light, and sea fans sway slowly in response to the tide. Preet in an environment that feels both ancient and alive. Above the water, the sea changes character throughout the day, glowing pale and translucent in the morning, deepening into rich blues under the midday sun, and darkening again at dusk as the sky softens into warm tones of gold and violet. Along the western shores, beaches extend calmly, their white sand marked briefly by footprints that soon fade, while hammocks sway gently between palms and the horizon stretches wide and uninterrupted. Life on the island unfolds according to natural rhythms rather than the clock, guided by daylight, tides, and weather. With fishing boats resting along the shore, nets drying in the sun, pyre and quiet moments filling the spaces between daily routines. Beyond the beaches, mangrove forests form sheltered lagoons, where roots reach down into still water, creating protected environments that nurture young marine life and stabilize the coastline. Places where reflections linger and sound feels softened. Inland, low hills rise modestly, covered in dense vegetation and crossed by narrow paths, where birdsong echoes through the trees, and occasional clearings reveal views of the sea on both sides, reminding visitors how closely land and water are intertwined here. Days on Roatan pass slowly, beginning with gentle light at sunrise, warming steadily through the afternoon, and cooling again as evening approaches, when the sky becomes a canvas of shifting color and the island grows quiet. On the island, the mainland of Honduras stretches outward once more, mountains rising in the distance, forests absorbing rain and wind, rivers continuing their patient journey toward the coast, all connected in a single continuous cycle. From coral reef to sandy shore, from mangrove lagoon to rainforest valley, and from river basin to mountain ridge, Honduras exists as a place of balance and contrast, where nature leads and human life remains closely woven into the surrounding environment. It is a land that does not demand haste, but instead invites stillness, observation, and a deeper awareness of the subtle movements of water, light, and time, offering those who linger a chance to experience its landscapes slowly, fully, and without distraction.
Most people think they already know Honduras. They've heard the stories, they've seen the headlines, but almost nobody sees what actually exists beyond them, because hidden beneath that reputation is a country packed with ancient cities, unreal nature, and places so untouched they feel like they don't belong in the modern world. And once you see it, Honduras never quite leaves your mind. But to understand why, you have to start with the story people rarely tell. Honduras is often reduced to a single narrative, but that version skips over entire worlds. Dense jungles stretch for miles. Mountains disappear into mist, rivers carve through untouched valleys. This is a land shaped by time, isolation, and survival, and its beauty is quiet, raw, and unfiltered. And that beauty didn't begin recently. It began thousands of years ago. Deep in the western region of the country sit the Copán Ruins, one of the most advanced ancient cities in the Mayan world. Every stone tells a story. Kings, astronomers, and artists once ruled here, tracking the stars with precision that still stuns historians today. And what's wild is that much of Honduras' ancient past is still buried. Entire settlements remain hidden beneath a thick jungle, waiting to be uncovered. But the secrets of Honduras aren't limited to its past. Move deeper into the country and the landscape begins to change. The air cools. Fog rolls through the trees. In places like Tigra National Park, forests float above the ground, alive with rare birds and wildlife you'll never see anywhere else. Waterfalls appear without warning. Trails vanish into greenery. It feels untouched, almost unreal. And just when you think Honduras can't surprise you anymore, the ocean changes everything. Off the northern coast lie the Bay Islands. Surrounded by some of the clearest water on Earth, Roatan sits along the world's second largest coral reef, bursting with color and life. Divers come here expecting beauty, but they leave shocked by how untouched it feels. No crowds, no chaos, just reef, sky, and silence. But Honduras isn't just landscapes and ruins. Its heart lives with its people. Across the coast and inland villages, culture runs deep. Garifuna rhythms echo through seaside towns. Food tells stories of ancestry and survival. Communities lean on each other in ways that feel rare today. Life isn't easy here, but it's real, and that reality is often ignored. Because Honduras has faced struggles most countries never escape: economic pressure, migration, labels that stuck before the full story could be told. Yet through it all, the country keeps moving, building, enduring, and that resilience is impossible to miss once you look past the surface. That's the part no headline shows. Honduras isn't what you're warned about, it's what you're never shown. A place of lost civilizations, wild landscapes, and people who carry history in everything they do. And once you see it clearly, you start to wonder how many other places in the world are hiding behind the wrong story. Because Honduras isn't just a destination, it's a reminder that the truth is often far more beautiful than the fear. Most people hear Honduras and their brain fills in the rest, a warning, a headline, a vibe that says, maybe don't. And to be fair, even official travel advisories still tell people to seriously think twice about certain areas. But here's the part that feels almost unreal at the exact same time. Honduras is hiding some of the most insane scenery in Central America, and a lot of it barely makes it onto anyone's radar. The question isn't whether Honduras is complicated, it's what you're missing if you only watch the scary version. That reputation didn't appear out of nowhere. Crime concerns are real enough that governments keep publishing blunt warnings, while also pointing out that places like the Bay Islands can feel like a different world compared to parts of the mainland, though even there, petty crime can still happen. And that contrast is exactly where the story gets interesting. Because once you step away from the one narrative, the country starts revealing layers people rarely talk about. And the first layer is carved into stone. In the west, the Copán Ruins don't just look ancient, they feel like a message someone never meant to lose. These ruins are famous for their intricate carvings and the sense that every surface is trying to tell you something. But the part that hooks people isn't only what's visible, it's what was hidden, because at Copán, researchers discovered the Rosalila temple preserved beneath later construction like the past got sealed away on purpose. And once you realize Honduras still has secrets buried under its own history, you start wondering what else is sitting just out of sight. Then the scenery flips. One moment you're thinking about ancient kings and stone glyphs, and the next, the air turns cold and wet and the world goes quiet. La Tigra National Park is one of those places where the forest doesn't feel like a forest, it feels like a living fog. Trails disappear into green, trees drip with moisture. The vibe is almost suspicious, like the mountain is hiding something in plain sight. And just when you think you've seen Honduras' wild side, the country casually reminds you it can go even bigger up north. The landscape opens into a version of Honduras that barely gets filmed the way it deserves. Pico Bonito National Park is the kind of place that looks too dramatic to be real, towering green walls, rivers cutting through rock, and waterfalls that make you feel small in the best way. It's not polished, it's not packaged, it's raw. And the crazier part is how fast it all changes. Because Honduras isn't done flipping the script yet. Because the biggest surprise is offshore. The Bay Islands sit in the Caribbean, like a secret people accidentally discovered, and right beneath them is the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, often described as the world's second largest reef system, basically a whole second universe under the surface. This is why divers talk about Honduras like it's a hidden level in a video game. Clear water, insane marine life, and that feeling that you're seeing something the internet hasn't fully ruined yet. But there's a catch, because paradise doesn't stay hidden forever. On Roatan, the future is the conversation. Local tourism updates have highlighted new investment and growth plans. And when a place like this starts blowing up, it changes fast. More hotels, more money, more attention. And that sounds great. Until you remember what makes an island magical is the thing development can